I think really since COVID, there's been instability, and I think there comes a point where we say instability is stability now, and it becomes a new norm. In our space around real estate, there's been changes to planning and gateway twos, and the rhetoric seems to be that it's delaying in terms of building, and it's more problematic. Also, we've obviously had America with import tariffs, and I know the government announced another $500 million for the GGS to support those businesses that may be impacted. But in your space, in that M&A, MBI space, or in that ABL space, what are you seeing as the main factors having an impact, or also from a positive side?
I agree. I mean, you're right. I think volatility is the new normal. Business owners are faced with an ever-changing landscape on almost a daily basis. An example of that would be, government policy changes. You rightly say, tax increases, etc. We saw national insurance increases last year, which had a big impact on operating costs, etc. of a business. So the asset-based lending is a really good tool for that. There's multiple ways in which you can cut our facility suite, multiple liquidity options for a business. Actually having that headroom is incredibly important to navigating through those challenges. Having the right capital structure is important for a business, because there are good times and there are bad times. UK SMEs are incredibly resilient. It's just about them, as I say, having the right capital and structure, having the right structure in place to help them through that.
I think I agree with you. UK SMEs are incredibly resilient. They employ about 80% of our workforce in the UK, and they are the engine room of this economy. And I think the GGS goes some way to supporting and helping them. We obviously try as a bank to support them as much as we possibly can as well. But I think going forward and looking into the future, we need to continue to support them. Otherwise the economy might not be as strong without them as it is with them. Then sectors, you mentioned that though. Is there any sectors that are hot at the moment that you would say that you're seeing a lot of activity in?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So one of the sectors that we see a lot of opportunity in is precision engineering. Obviously, since COVID, you've seen a lot of sort of nearshoring or reshoring of precision engineering type activity. Seems to be a lot of acquisition, a lot of private equity investment that's going into the sector. Noting, for example, offshore, if there's a pipework structure that's a long way under the sea, then actually businesses are willing to pay a little bit more for UK-made products, because rather than Chinese, which there may be issues with, actually the cost of paying a small margin more for an engineered product in the UK is much less than having to spend a lot of money on fixing a problem that's created by a faulty part, etc. So that sort of stuff, that's all good news for the UK. And I think something we need to leverage on more and more moving forward is our capabilities in those sort of sectors.
You mentioned private equity. So would you say there's a lot of liquidity looking to be distributed at the moment, or are people sat on their hands waiting to see what happens?
Well, I think a bit of both. I think there's a lot of dry powder out there in the private equity market. They have been faced with the same macroeconomic challenges as SME business owners. But actually, the private equity teams that I am speaking to are all looking for opportunities, and as a key part of their asset-based lending business is supporting those acquisitions. With the different liquidity tools that we've got, it can support the day one consideration with their equity going in. But it's also the ongoing working capital of that business and the growth capital from there onwards.
Yeah. And then when I speak to SMEs, and some of their biggest challenges, they say, is actually legislation. And that's one of their biggest concerns as well. And obviously, surrounding yourself with people that understand that is really key. Is there anything from a legislation side that your clients, or what's their main concerns when you go out and speak to them?
It's a really good question. I think legislation is an important one. Obviously, people is incredibly important as well. Having the right people in your business, staffing with the inflationary pressures created by the Ukraine war, that was a massive cost pressure for people. You had the national insurance price increases, but at the same time you have to have, you know, important people in your business. Your staff are the lifeblood of your business, as SMEs are the lifeblood of the UK economy. So I would say staffing is still a really big consideration, as well as the macroeconomic environment around tariffs, that sort of stuff.